What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube video. We have a full day's worth of price action to unfold on how I made around $400 today trading the Nasdaq. Small winning day, but nevertheless still a winning day. I'm going to be breaking down the two trades that I alerted on my live stream, one of them which I took and one of them which I didn't, and I'm going to explain why. Both were still valid trades, but one of them was definitely better than the other, and it's very, very valuable to know why one was higher probability than the other. So let's break this down from the start of the day. So let's just clear the chat out real quick. Coming into the day, I was super bearish. And the reason being is because we've displaced so heavily through all of these levels of sell-side liquidity. As you can see, displacing through here. We've actually came back down and displaced back through this low. Super strong momentum. So there's just no way I could possibly be bullish going into this day until something about price action told me that we would be bullish. So at 9 AM, we had this potential unfilled hourly fair value gap above that I wanted to see price tap into for a short position. And we actually got short off open. And the reason I didn't take it is because I wanted this hourly fair value gap. If you watch the 1 minute price action here, off of open, we get a huge pump up from this trendline liquidity, and then we come down and we inverse this 1 minute gap. Right, like kind of these combined 1 minute gaps right here, and then we get a short down to the lows. Now, I didn't really like this. I wanted the hourly gap. I felt like we were still too high, and then we didn't really have any nice draws below, and we were inside the 5. So I faded this. Is what it is. I don't really regret fading it at all. I want to see the hourly fair value gap. So if we play a price forward, you can see that we distribute lower pretty strongly. We continue to distribute lower. We get another potential short here. So a continuation short where we would deliver from this 5 minute fair value gap. So on the 2 minute time frame, we get this fair value gap put in right here, right? So this is where we get a fair value gap. I was open to this. This 5 minute was my current condition. We were coming down, and then look at the next candle. So risk to reward completely off the table, right? So absolutely no trade potential there anymore. We kept distributing lower, and then 10 AM orange folding news gave us a nice data wick here. So now I had a super strong draw. So I took it back a step. I'm thinking, right, I don't want to force a trade down to this data low. So let's just mark out the range here from this high to this low. I want a 50% tap. We've got an unfilled 5 minute fair value gap, super obvious. And I want a 50% tap of this leg. So I want to see the 50% ideally of this 5 minute gap tapped. Now, as we come up, I do say on my live stream, there is a chance that we do not come all the way to the 50%. We might just tap it to the 5 and continue lower. And look what the first thing that happens is. We come up, we play a price, don't want to play it too fast. Here. And then boom, instant V-shape. Now, this is a good setup, and if you took this, this is a good loss, in my opinion. I personally faded this. I only took this on eval because I wanted to see this 50% tapped above. I knew we were still low here. Yes, we have a strong draw on liquidity. This might work. This probably has a higher than a 50% win rate, right? Most of the time, we'll probably go straight down after a candle like this. But I wanted to see the 50% level, and I stuck to that. I called that on stream. I want to see the 50% level tapped, and then I want to see us come back down to the data low. None of this is hindsight because I called it in live time. And if we watch us come back up here, there's the 50% tap. We start to reverse, and then what we actually do at the top there is we put in a bearish SMT with the S, a really small one. Doesn't really add much confidence to the trade, but I guess a little bit because it means we have a manipulation leg on ES. And then what happens here is we get a 30-second inverse. So I entered on the 30-second candle close here. And of course, what we have below is a data low, which is a super strong draw on liquidity. So I usually scale at 1-to-1, right? But I did not scale much at 1-to-1 at all because we were coming down with so much displacement. My stop loss was moved to break even at this low. So stop loss to break even there. and we were coming down with so much displacement. And data highs and data lows are the only scenarios where I will not scale most of my position at a 1-to-1, which is the situation we had right here. And it was a huge risk to reward, right? I was happy to accept the risk to reward on this trade. This could have been an absolutely huge trade. So I scaled a bit here, not much. I think it was at point, I think maybe half of my position, just less than, for a 1-to-1 when we hit 25 points, I believe it was. So yeah, it was at 25 points that I scaled. And then regardless, we came back and got stopped at break even. And this is why I scale at a 1-to-1, because you're just not always guaranteed for these positions to play out. And when you really think about it, you're either going to get a scale half and break even, or you're just going to get a break even. Because so often we will retrace into these gaps, rebalance the leg, and then come back down, especially with the way low time frame price action has been this week. And as you can see, we chop around a bit. Low time frame price action on the 1 minute is a little bit choppy, and then we eventually hit the draw. So really straightforward day, super easy bias. It's a very big shame we didn't get an obvious fair value gap in this leg and then like a clean setup just play out to the data lows, but that's just not something we've been getting with the current price action. Let me know in the comments how you guys got on today on this trading day. And if you're watching this in the future, far in the future, obviously this is still informative. But yeah, then we had this 1 minute long, and I was done for the day. The second this data low hit, I was done. I was locked out on all my accounts, and then we had a random birth candle through this fair value gap, and then this played out perfectly. But obviously, hindsight play, very bearish on the day. Look at the daily time frame and the 4-hour time frame. We're delivering from absolutely nowhere. So to me, just does not make sense to long down here at all. It's a bit of a gamble in my opinion. So like I say, I was done. I was already done for the day there. But pattern trade right there, and that's all that is really, a pattern trade. And as you can see, that played out to the intermediate term high right there. High quality pattern trade, don't get me wrong, very high quality pattern trade, but it was against the draw on liquidity. And when I was already done for the day, certainly wouldn't be taking an extra trade like that. So if you guys do want to trade live with me every single day next week, check out the Discord, link in the description. And yeah, get yourself involved. Very active live stream. Like I say, I called out this whole move on the stream today very cleanly. Unfortunately, we didn't get this nice setup here. And we didn't get, and this 1 minute just wasn't as clean as it could have been for me because I wanted to manipulate into the hourly gap. So yeah, difficult day in some aspects, especially the lower time frame price action, but in terms of bias and predicting price, a very simple day. So like I said, jump in the Discord, subscribe for more educational content, completely free on YouTube. So much value on this channel, and I will see all of you guys in the next YouTube video.